Simon Barako, Bowles. Of course, James Yap is also on the floor right now. As we start this game, we formally open the proceedings as Doug Kramer fires with a moment of silence for the late great Bobby Parks, the father of a very talented UAAP superstar Ray Parks. Bobby Parks, for the benefit of our very young fans. Marami kasi tayong mga young fans na hindi na rin inabutan si Bobby Parks when he was an import. I mean, he was a sensational import. I mean, 7 times was named best import. I don't think that will ever be repeated in the PBA. 7-time PBA best import. Well, the toughest part about being an import is just playing consistent basketball, and that's what we've seen with Bobby Parks through the years. Mapalaki, maliit yung import, basta pumasok si Bobby Parks, you could really expect that his team would be a contender. There's Evan Brock, and Brock, accident of Evan Brock. Anyway, going back to the late Bobby Parks, when news broke out of his passing, ang bilis kumalat yan, because his reputation is rock solid, and of his reputation, and immediately the overflow of grief kumalat kaagad sa Twitter. Ibang-iba kasing ginagawa talaga ni Bobby. Tsaka ilan lang yun, Miko, yung mga imports who really have made a name for themselves and have played consistent basketball all throughout their career. You have the Norman Black, Sean Chambers, you have Bobby. So, these guys have been, the pillar when you talk about the quality of imports that have played here in the league. Meantime, Doug Kramer tries again. This time it goes in, and I have a feeling Doug is going to maximize this opportunity to start for Barako Bull.
Well, he's been waiting for this chance to really be able to get more minutes into this game. Talagang mahirap lang sa position ni Doug. The import, si Evan Brock, kinakain kasi yung position niya. He played the same position, so he really has to work on his game to be able to be more versatile in his game.
Meantime, here's Brock, 2-all, ang ating score, and Brock will miss. One more try, and
Nalairo na tayo, at the top of the coverage na. He really needs support, and he needs help from the locals to be able to step up. And not only 1, 2, but maybe 3 or 4 more locals to be able to win games.
Here's PJ Simon. PJ Simon kasama si James Yap, Denzel Bowles, Mark Pingris, and Mark Baroka in the Sandy Coffee starting unit. Shot clock down to 5, and Pingris will miss. That goes to Bowles, over to James, and James will score.
It's a great way for James Yap to get his scoring going. At least he went straight to the basket. He went for the higher percentage shot.
So we're all tied up at 4 apiece. And here's Kramer to JC Intal, and now over to Brock. And Brock shoots over Pingris, and Evan Brock now with 4 points. I think we were discussing this right before the game in the production room, how the role of imports have dramatically changed from the time of, let's say, you go all the way back to mga Andy Fields, mga Bruce Sky King, mga ganyan, yung panahon mo, di ba? Mas
Papunta naman ako ng konti.
Tony Ray Coons, mga ganyan, di ba? And then you go to I guess the golden age of the consistent imports like Norman Black, Sean Chambers, and the late Bobby Parks. And you can say that that's like the holy trinity of imports, yung tatlo, because they were so consistent. I mean, with all due respect to your teammate Tony Harris, I mean, Tony was just a different category, a different player.
He was talent, Miko. He was all talent. Of course, he won a championship with Tony. He's a great player. Yun nga lang, when you talk about playing around, they have to do even the dirty job because that's what it takes to win games.
So let's say somebody na, a PBA fan, let's say he's maybe 13, 14, 15 years old. Obviously, wala na masyadong memory of how Bobby played. Tinanong ka, Sir Eric, can you describe for us paano ba naglaro si Bobby Parks noong araw? How would you describe it?
Well, Bobby can play all 5 positions, and that's the beauty of a great import like a player like Bobby Parks. Ang hirap nun because kaya mong pumoste, kaya mong magdala ng bola, kaya mong shoot sa labas, kaya mong drive sa loob, you can put the ball on the floor. So there's so many things that you can do, and that's what Bobby Parks have done and proven to this league.
Oh, nice pass by Bowles, and
he's cutting to the basket.
I think also going back to Bobby Parks, umabot na sa point. I mean, when you win 7 Best Import Award, ibig sabihin nun, taon-taon nandito ka. Halos di ka na umalis.
Miski malalaking import, like nakalaban niya way back, looking back at Sylvester Gray, who's a lot taller than Bobby, he was able to hold his ground against, powerful imports with his versatility.
Sylvester Gray, the mammoth import ng Ginebra before. Meantime, here's Barako. Barako goes baseline, one-hander, and goes.
You have Barako in your lineup with PJ Simon scoring, then it would really be so good, too good for Coach Tim Cohn, because you know that there will be guys always ready to step up when the lead arises.
Approaching the halfway mark of the opening quarter, Alain Maliksi hoping to have another stellar game para sa Barako Bull. Meantime, pulled up, Josh Urbistondo connects.
Well, Josh Urbistondo is really, one of the guys, go-to guys of Barako. Formerly of Sanmi Coffee, he was part of the champion team. Kahit paano here, he's really doing very well for Barako Bull scoring-wise.
Bowles, celebrating his birthday today, is now part of tonight's story, replacing Josh Urbistondo. One-hander, James connects.
This is scary, Nico. We've been talking about James having problems off the court, but dito mo naman, he hit his first 2 shots, and that's really a good sign, and that's going to be scary for Coach Raiko Truman.
Nice move by JC Tal, just couldn't finish, and there's Evan Brock taking care of business. 6 of Barako's 15 points coming from Evan Brock.
Well, you have a workhorse like Evan Brock, you can really count that he would always show up every night.
As you all know, Jonas Villanueva and Joshua Bistondo both played for Sadvik Coffee, as JC, who likewise used to play for Sadvik Coffee. This is anew, and it's a 1-point game for the Mixers. Here's Bowles against Penisi, and Denzel missing. Here's Villanueva to JC. Bullet pass to Evan Brock.
Good teamwork there by JC and Tal and Evan Brock. They were able to get a higher percentage shot off the transition play.
And the lead swings back to Barako Bull, 17-16. Approaching the last 5 minutes of the opening quarter, it's James against JC. Probably did this often. Nice pass.
That's a great pass right there. A good look. Very unselfish play na ginawa doon ni JC and Tal. He could have opted to drive, pero mas maganda yung position doon ni Evan Brock.
James on the left side. One-hander. That's good.
This guy is actually waxing hot in the first quarter alone, and if you ask me, he's actually back, and that's not really going to be a good sign for Barako.
Talent motion. Over to Penisi, and that's a turnover. Here's Baraka. Steps on the brakes, over to Nahorda. Hand off, Denzel Bowles. How fans embrace the likes of Norman and Sean and Bobby Parks, because I think a lot of that has to do with how often they played for their team. Norman with San Miguel, Sean Chambers for Alaska, and of course Bobby Parks for Shell.
Alam mo, Nico, you can look at the quality of the fan, of the
culture, the responsibility that comes with being a talented import.
Well, mahirap talaga. It's really a tough job, being an import here, playing over here, because basically, not only do you have to be good, you have to also endear yourselves. And at the same time, you have to leave a legacy or a lasting memory to all these fans who are really coming every single day in practice or even in the games.
Here's Bowles, twirls, and he will take 2. These two teams have basically the same objective. Let's move up in the team standings. Siyempre, yung pangangailangan ng Barako to move up is a little more dire compared to Sadmi Coffee.
Mabigat yung sa Barako, Miko, because their backs are against the wall. You have to sweep. When you say you have to sweep your last remaining game, that's like no room for error. Kahit paano, you have a good shot because it's best of 3, and kahit paano naman, there's always that possibility for you to be able to play better in the quarters.
Turnover against Sadmi Coffee, but a counter steal by Baroka, and a forward pass for PJ Simon.
Great, way to defend and at least be able to turn garbage into gold. After you make a turnover, you sprint down, try to make stops.
Jonas Villanueva. Danny Siegel now part of the ball game, joining Maliksi, Sean Anthony, and Evan Brock. And here's Danny Siegel against the Horda. Good defense by... And here's Jonas for 3. Sandy Coffee managing a 5-point advantage as we near the last 2 minutes of the opening period. Here's Bowles, top of the key, in and out. And Jonas decides to slow things down. 13 to shoot. Sends it to Danny. Dynamite sends it back to Jonas. Shot clock down to 8. Goes back to Danny Siegel, who momentarily loses the ball. 3 to shoot. Classic move by Danny Siegel.
Well, it's actually very tough to defend against. You have Danny Siegel back you up all the way in the shaded area and just go for a fall away. That's really going to be very tough to stop.
Here's James. Rebound by Brock. It's just a 3-point ball game dito sa opening quarter. And Brock locates Villanueva from the corner. Goes straight to Brock. No go. Here's Simon. Outside, Nahorda.
One thing nice about Leon Nahorda is always ready to play, and he has that good perimeter jumper that can really help Sammy Coffee.
Nahorda has been such a high-quality pickup, no, for Coach Tim Cone. Always gives quality minutes. That time, he committed a foul against a...
nila na kung hindi nila maipanalo ang mga laro, pwedeng hindi nila ma-defend ang kanilang pagiging Commissioner's Cup champion. Dinagdag pa niya that JC, Jonas, and Josh are out there to bring them down. Pero alam niya, with the right concentration, he can contribute substantially for the team. Balik sa inyo?
You know, I am going to dig into your personal experience, Eric, and try and share to the viewers when you're playing for Ateneo before. Let's say may pimple ka sa ilong and it bothered you so much. How do you stay focused for the game?
Nilalagyan ko ng gamot yung pimple.
Oxy.
Tinatakpan ko. Para hindi makita sa camera.
No, but did you have experiences before? I'm sure in your long career, you've had bad days. You go to a game and you try and block it out. I mean, how would you do it?
You just have to play. And nakita nga natin what Coach Tim has said. All these players are great players. And the most important thing is just getting quality shots. And one
from Danny Siegel. Good defensive rebound, Sean Anthony. Doug fires. They'll say last touch on Danny Siegel.
Well, that's actually a positive sign for me for Barako, even if they missed, your offensive rebound try. Kahit pa paano nakikita mo that there's an effort by the players to get more rebounds because they're actually last in rebounding. And it's really very tough, for you to be able to succeed if you really cannot rebound.
And a good stretch from Alex Malyari.
A while ago, nabanggit ko siya sa prod room, Nico, si James Up doesn't really score. There are other guys in this team that can really put up numbers. You have Alex Malyari, the rookie, who can produce, Simon, even Barako. And now it's really good to see that Jody Vance is back in harness. So that's really a good sign for Coach Tim Cone na yung team niya ay kompleto na ulit.
Missed by Sean Anthony. And that ends the opening quarter.